In the vast, bone-dry desert of Peru, an ancient mystery is etched into the very earth. We're talking about colossal figures, a spider, a hummingbird, a monkey, so immense they are truly comprehensible only from the sky. For decades, we thought we understood the basics of the Nazca Lines. But what if the story we've been told is merely the surface of a much deeper, more unsettling truth? Recent discoveries, powered by cutting-edge technology, have completely flipped the script on this enigmatic civilization. This documentary embarks on a journey to challenge long-held beliefs and reveal the hidden complexities of the Nazca people. Today, we're digging into 5 insane facts about the Nazca Lines and their creators that will forever change everything you thought you knew. Prepare to question the past as we uncover a world far more intricate and, perhaps, more disturbing than previously imagined. The narrative of the Nazca Lines typically begins and ends with the Nazca people, who flourished in this arid landscape from approximately 200 BC to 600 AD. For generations, every giant monkey or intricate spider was attributed solely to their artistic genius. Yet, this widely accepted account is far from complete. In fact, it doesn't even mark the true beginning of this extraordinary tradition. Archaeological evidence now definitively confirms that the Nazca culture was preceded by the equally fascinating Paracas culture. It was the Paracas, inhabiting the region from around 800 BC to 100 BC, who initiated the practice of carving monumental figures into the desert landscape. Some of these earlier designs predate the more famous Nazca figures by several centuries, pushing the origins of geoglyph creation back much further in time. This revelation fundamentally alters our understanding of the line's genesis. Here's where the story truly deepens. The Paracas and Nazca possess distinctly different artistic styles and, it appears, divergent motivations for their monumental art. Paracas figures are often anthropomorphic or zoomorphic, depicting fierce warriors, mythical beings, or stylized human forms. Crucially, these early geoglyphs were typically placed on hillsides, making them visible to communities residing in the valleys below. They were designed for an earthly audience, a direct communication with those living and working in the landscape. The Nazca, on the other hand, took this inherited tradition in a radically new direction. They created their iconic animal figures and vast geometric lines primarily on the flat desert floor, a canvas seemingly intended for a different perspective. This wasn't just a minor adjustment to the timeline, it completely reframes the entire mystery. The Nazca didn't invent geoglyphs, they inherited a profound artistic and spiritual legacy, then transformed it into something uniquely their own. This suggests a profound cultural handoff, a passing of the torch across generations and civilizations. The Paracas initiated a dialogue with the landscape, embedding their beliefs into the very earth for their people to witness. The Nazca responded with designs so immense and strategically placed that they seemed destined for the heavens, or perhaps for beings beyond human comprehension. Why this dramatic shift in style, scale, and intended audience? Were the Nazca striving to surpass their ancestors, or were they communicating with an entirely different entity? The realization that this was a multi-generational, evolving artistic and spiritual practice makes the mystery infinitely more profound than we ever imagined. It forces us to consider a continuous, yet transforming, relationship between humans, their environment, and the unseen forces they believed governed their world. While the colossal drawings have captivated our imaginations for decades, an equally incredible feat of engineering was unfolding right beneath the desert surface, almost invisibly. The Nazca people were not merely visionary artists, they were also master hydrologists who constructed an astonishing underground aqueduct system known as puquios. This wasn't just a fascinating side project, it was the very key to their survival and, arguably, what allowed them the stability and resources to create the iconic lines in the first place. Imagine living in one of the driest places on Earth, a hyper-arid desert where rainfall is virtually non-existent. The Nazca ingeniously engineered a sophisticated network of underground canals to tap into precious groundwater deep beneath the parched landscape. These were no mere ditches, they were meticulously constructed tunnels, some plunging over 30 feet deep, extending for miles to deliver life-sustaining water to their farms and villages. Crucially, this underground design minimized evaporation, a critical factor in such an unforgiving environment. The most visually striking features of this system are the spiral-shaped entrances, or ojos, eyes, that dot the landscape. These corkscrewing wells, often mistaken for abstract art themselves, served multiple vital functions. They provided essential access for cleaning and maintenance of the underground channels, ensuring a continuous flow of water. Furthermore, their unique design channeled wind into the tunnels, creating a natural ventilation system that helped push water through the network. And, of course, they served as convenient points for drawing water for daily use. Let that astonishing fact truly sink in. At the very same time they were meticulously carving giant hummingbirds and monkeys into the desert floor, the Nazca were simultaneously constructing a life-sustaining plumbing system that rivaled the engineering prowess of other great ancient civilizations. Amazingly, dozens of these 1,500-year-old puquios are not just archaeological relics, they are still actively used by local farmers in the region today, a testament to their enduring genius and functionality. This discovery shatters the simplistic image of the Nazca as solely mystical skygazers. They were brilliant, practical engineers who literally terraformed a desert to build and sustain their world. This dual mastery, of both monumental art and sophisticated engineering, forces us to reconsider their motivations. Were the lines a symbolic map of their precious water sources, a prayer to the very same water gods they were honoring with their incredible subterranean engineering? The geoglyphs and the puquios are not separate phenomena, they are two sides of the same cultural coin. They represent a profound testament to a civilization's obsession with water, survival, and their deep spiritual connection to the forces that governed their existence in an extreme environment. For nearly a century, we believed we had identified most of the Nazca Lines through traditional aerial photography and painstaking fieldwork. We were profoundly mistaken. In recent years, researchers from Japan's Yamagata University, in collaboration with IBM, unleashed the power of artificial intelligence upon the vast Nazca Desert. The results have been nothing short of mind-blowing, completely redefining the scope of this ancient mystery. The AI, meticulously trained on thousands of high-resolution satellite images and drone footage, began to spot faint patterns and subtle depressions that the human eye had overlooked for generations. In a matter of months, these advanced AI systems helped identify hundreds of previously unknown geoglyphs. In 2024, a groundbreaking study announced the discovery of 303 new figures, and a subsequent announcement in 2025 added another 248, bringing the total known geoglyphs to nearly 900. What would have taken archaeologists decades of arduous work, the AI accomplished in mere months, revolutionizing the pace of discovery. But it's not just the sheer number of new finds that is so shocking, it's the nature of what the AI uncovered. These aren't simply more elegant monkeys and spiders. The new discoveries include a plethora of bizarre, often smaller figures, depicting strange humanoids, two-headed animals, and some truly unsettling scenes. These images present a stark contrast to the more familiar, graceful designs. One of the most talked about finds is a 72-foot-long orca, depicted holding what appears to be a knife and a severed human head. Other newly identified paths reveal continuous images of priests or figures carrying human heads, suggesting a recurring and significant motif. These smaller, often grislier figures were frequently found positioned along ancient trails and pathways, suggesting they were meant to be seen by people traversing these routes. They may have served as ritual markers, territorial warnings, or perhaps even as visual narratives of their beliefs and practices. This forces us to fundamentally rethink everything we thought we knew about the line's purpose and audience. While the giant, iconic figures might have been intended for the gods or celestial observation, this new class of smaller, more violent images suggests a much more direct, and perhaps more sinister, conversation with the people on the ground. It hints at a darker, more visceral aspect of Nazca culture, one that was perhaps meant to be experienced up close and personally. Those unsettling AI discoveries of figures holding severed heads? That wasn't merely symbolic art or abstract mythology. It reflects a very real and profoundly dark aspect of Nazca society, the ritual practice of taking trophy heads. For a long time, this was considered a gruesome but peripheral footnote in their history. However, modern scientific analysis has now revealed just how central this practice was to their culture, casting the seemingly peaceful geoglyphs in a chilling new light. Archaeologists have unearthed numerous trophy heads in Nazca burials and ceremonial sites. These are not simply skulls, they are carefully prepared human heads, often with a hole drilled in the forehead through which a rope was threaded for display. The lips were frequently pinned shut with cactus spines, adding to their macabre appearance. For years, it was assumed these were the heads of foreign enemies, captured in battle as symbols of victory. However, isotope analysis of the remains has revealed a shocking and disturbing truth. The vast majority of these trophy heads belonged not to outsiders, but to members of the local Nazca population. They were not foreign invaders, they were part of the same community, perhaps even family members. This revelation completely recontextualizes the practice. It wasn't about warfare or conquest, it was about ritual, sacrifice, and a profound belief system. Nazca pottery frequently depicts these heads linked to agriculture and fertility, sometimes even showing plants sprouting from them. This suggests the heads were powerful offerings to the gods, intended to ensure a good harvest or, in their arid environment, to bring desperately needed rain. The practice even appears to have become more prevalent during periods of severe drought, pointing to a desperate escalation in their offerings to appease divine forces. This completely transforms our perception of the Nazca people. Their society was deeply steeped in complex rituals that involved human sacrifice and the potent symbolic power of decapitation. Now, reconsider the Nazca Lines themselves. Were the giant figures a simple plea to the gods for prosperity, or were they part of a darker, more profound bargain? Were they an elaborate, public declaration of a culture that believed life and death were the ultimate price for survival and abundance? The lines, once seen as benign art, now whisper tales of a society grappling with profound spiritual beliefs and the ultimate cost of appeasing their deities. For decades, the most enduring puzzle of the Nazca Lines was how anyone could possibly appreciate their monumental scale and intricate designs before the advent of flight. Theories ranged from the plausible to the wildly speculative, encompassing everything from ancient hot air balloons to extraterrestrial visitors. Yet, this entire line of questioning was based on a fundamental, flawed assumption that the lines were only meant to be seen from above. A growing body of evidence now suggests a far more intimate and profound purpose. The lines were made to be walked. Many of the geoglyphs, particularly the vast geometric shapes and the incredibly long, straight lines that stretch for miles across the desert, are not merely static images but dynamic pathways. Archaeologists who have physically traversed these ancient routes have discovered that they often connect significant ritual mounds, ceremonial sites, and even water sources. Imagine groups of people, perhaps entire communities, walking these sacred routes in solemn procession, chanting or performing intricate rituals. Their journey across the desert floor would have been a prayer in itself, a physical act of devotion. The discovery of fragments of spondylus shell, a rare, sacred oyster highly prized for its association with water rituals, at the termini of some paths further strengthens the connection to rain ceremonies and fertility rites. This revolutionary idea transforms the Nazca Lines from a static art gallery into a dynamic, interactive temple. Even many of the famous animal figures are drawn in a single, continuous line, much like a labyrinth. Walking the precise outline of a sacred animal could have been a powerful way to connect with its spiritual essence, to embody its power, or to commune with the deity it represented. The lines were not just a message board for sky gods, they were a vast, open-air temple floor, open to the heavens, where the Nazca physically performed their deepest beliefs and spiritual aspirations. They didn't need to fly to experience the lines, they were already walking with their gods, their every step imbued with sacred meaning. This perspective brings the Nazca people back into the heart of the mystery, revealing them not as passive observers, but as active participants in a profound, landscape-scale ritual. For centuries, the Nazca Lines were defined by what we couldn't explain: their monumental scale, their enigmatic audience, their elusive purpose. But as we delve deeper, utilizing both traditional archaeology and cutting-edge technology, a much more complex, human, and at times, unsettling picture is coming into sharp focus. This wasn't the work of a single, isolated culture. but rather a continuous dialogue with the desert, evolving over more than 1,000 years, involving multiple civilizations. These weren't just drawings, they were an integral part of a sophisticated survival strategy, seamlessly blending brilliant water engineering with profound, and sometimes dark, sacrificial rituals. And they weren't solely for the gods, they were for the people, who walked them in solemn ceremonies, their footsteps echoing ancient prayers. The latest discoveries, powered by artificial intelligence and scientific analysis that the Nazca could never have imagined, are ironically bringing us closer than ever to their world. Yet, with every answer, new questions emerge, deepening the enigma. We now have hundreds of new, often disturbing figures to decipher, and a much darker, more complicated culture to truly understand. The ultimate secret of the Nazca Lines may never be fully revealed, but one thing is certain: the mystery is only getting deeper, inviting us to continue our quest for truth in the heart of the Peruvian desert. What do you believe the Nazca Lines were truly for? An astronomical calendar, ritual pathways, a desperate plea for survival, or something else entirely? Share your theories and insights in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on this enduring mystery. And if you've enjoyed unraveling this ancient puzzle with us, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world's greatest enigmas. Join our community of curious minds as we continue to explore the unexplained.